and welcome, Alex and Rob. Thank you for being here. So let's just start with our topic, industrial IoT and predictive maintenance. And let's just talk about how Insights Hub and Senseye Predictive Maintenance helps customers to leverage the potential of data and improve operations. So my first question is for both of you. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what is Insights Hub and Senseye Predictive Maintenance?
Happy to do so. So Insights Hub is our solution for data-driven manufacturing utilizing IoT technologies. And so what we offer there is a suite of out-of-box solutions addressing manufacturing challenges, building on a common data model, a common connectivity layer, and making that basically easily adoptable by industries.
Yeah, and Senseye, we're a cloud-based predictive maintenance solution focused on scaling the role of the reliability engineer and utilizing a lot of time series data from the factory.
Excellent. So my next question is for you, Alex, to just talk about the different solutions that Insights Hub offers. Why don't you expand a little bit more on what is the power of a solution like Insights Hub?
Yeah, so the power is that we have kind of a portfolio of modular, out-of-the-box solutions. So a typical starting point is, for example, Insights Hub OEE, where manufacturers can see where do they incur losses in their production, and then basically specifically act on the areas where there is a gain to be made. And then building on that, we have then, for instance, quality prediction in areas where there is a low first pass yield, or then we have asset health and maintenance around the whole topic of increasing availability. And what all of them have in common is it's out of the box, so you can basically gain value very quickly. All of them build on one data model. It's very important because it helps then to easily expand from one solution to another one. And all of them are utilizing one connectivity layer.
Wonderful. So, Rob,
yeah.
Alex just talked about the out-of-the-box solutions. Can you expand on why integrating an application like Senseye Predictive Maintenance is a seamless and easy experience for customers?
Yeah, so what's really important with Senseye Predictive Maintenance, we realize that we are one part of a wide set of tools that will be used within a factory and even within reliability engineering. And a key aspect and a benefit is the fact that, as a cloud-based solution, we need access to data. And we need that data to be in a structured way that is securely gathered on the shop floor and available in the cloud. And with Insights Hub, we get that. We become part of that wider ecosystem and sitting alongside those other use cases. Yeah.
Excellent. So what about interoperability of applications? You just highlighted that. What do you mean by that? So
being able to be within that ecosystem of apps allows the data to be shared and interoperable, so you're kind of increasing the value of the data. You're moving data between different apps, so you become part of the natural workflow that's there for the user. And they can build their own sort of ecosystem and set of apps that suits their business needs.
That is wonderful. So now my next question is for you, Alex. Can you talk a little bit about the reuse of applications?
Well, reuse of applications and mainly a reuse of data for the applications. The big advantage of this is, number one is consistency between what you see in different applications. Because if you, with the early example, you move from OEE to predictive maintenance. Now, some of the KPIs you look at are actually the same on both sides. If those solutions are not having the same data underbelly, you have very easily the challenge that you have slightly deviating KPIs shown there, and then you spend in the end more time actually trying to bring the differences together and explain for them than you actually use to get the insights and act off them and improve the production which you have. And then the second piece is, of course, you go once through the process of connecting the equipment, once through the process of onboarding, configuring it. But then once you go from one use case to another one, it's a fairly easy and seamless journey. If you go with siloed applications, then the challenge is you go through this whole process over and over again, and you don't have actually the benefit of one start and quick expansion, but it's basically you repay the same price over and over again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So now let's get a little bit more practical. So Alex, can you explain how do Insights Hub and Senseye Predictive Maintenance work together?
Yeah, so overall you can say the umbrella for this is an end-to-end workflow. So starting at the equipment where the data is generated, Insights Hub is collecting it, is pre-processing it, and is making then it available in exactly the format and in the pre-filtering and the pre-processing which Senseye needs. Senseye can run then its algorithms to detect anomalies, to make predictions about future behavior, and generate cases where the algorithm sees the need for a follow-up. And this, as well as alarms generated by other systems, is then basically combined in an application called Asset Health and Maintenance, where then a maintenance engineer has an overview of all the open tickets, all the open items they have to look into. They can go into more depth, analyze the data to figure out, is a follow-up really needed? What kind of a follow-up should it be? In some cases, remote repair is an option. Then they have a secure connection back to the equipment and can directly make changes there. Or through standard interfaces, they can push it into the common maintenance management systems so that then service technicians are deployed on the ground and fix the hardware as needed. So you basically go from the initial data collection throughout detecting something is wrong, understanding what is it and how to best fix it to the point that you fix it and you have the whole topic solved.
Yeah. And I would just add to that as well, there's that feedback loop. So having that, all that data within Insights Hub gives you sort of, it's like one version of the truth. So as well as having the access to the sensor data, we're part of the workflow, but we can also see the feedback of what's been done as well, and we can learn from that, and it's more context for the user. Yeah.
Thank you for the explanation. And now, do you have an example of a customer or how this solution is bringing value to a real case?
Yeah, so I mean, we work across a diverse number of sectors where we kind of think of ourselves as agnostic to various verticals and the machine types. But you know, some of the examples we talk about might be within like food and beverage, for example, where you've got Insights Hub that's maybe already been used, like Alexander explained, for other use cases, maybe OEE or quality. And then we can build on top of that, start to have access to that same sensor data from the machines. And the key there is you'll find in these organizations, there's typically a maintainer that's responsible for monitoring the machines, but the problem is their role needs to scale. So now we've got the ability not to gather data from a small number of machines. We can see every machine in the factory, and humans don't scale, but technology does. And that's the beauty. Now we can direct that individual user down to the small number of machines that he needs to focus on, get his maintenance team working on. And then it becomes like a virtuous cycle in effect as well, because he's there more effectively applying maintenance, preventing downtime, keeping the machines running, sometimes saving, you know, hundreds of thousands of euros in one event and keeping that line running and keeping the products flowing through the factory. But then it goes beyond where they can start to think about things like, okay, we are inspecting this machine every month. Do we really need to do that anymore? Are we getting enough confidence in the technology that we can stop intervening with the machines? And that has other benefits as well. It's quite interesting. Sometimes we see customers, when they go to that route, the machines become even more stable because there's this whole concept of maintenance-induced failures. Every time you've got somebody touching, opening something up, you're maybe contaminating lubrication or you're misaligning something. So you can actually reduce the risk even further. And in all of those savings, we find customers reinvest part of that back into their infrastructure, connect more machines, move on to the next line, and move on to the next factory. Yeah.
Thank you, Rob. That's very interesting. Thanks for sharing those examples.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what about other applications for Insights Hub?
Yeah, I mean, a good customer example is in a different industry, automotive. So a large tier 1 supplier decided to actually utilize Insights Hub, starting with 3 basic applications around cycle time analysis, energy management, and OEE, making that accessible to their factories, a large network of factories, so they can actually start with where they see the biggest pain points. Because usually the guys on the shop floor, they also know already with a quite good feeling where actually the main challenges are for them. And that's basically the starting point and allows them to get this first realization of ROI. Because when you roll out something like this, of course, sooner or later the question is, how much does it actually help us? What does it mean on the bottom line? And so they can do this, and in one case they were able, with cycle time analysis, to actually recoup their factory-specific cost for rolling that out in just 1.5 months. In other cases it's more 3 months. But so they get to this first value, and that is basically then the triggering point where they see, okay, it really makes sense. Let's understand where is actually the next expansion we can do, where we can get to more savings. And this is what they're doing right now. And then predictive maintenance is, of course, an obvious one if they see that actually moving from a time-based or just reactive maintenance approach will have the significant gain. And similar examples we also see in different industries, medical devices, industrial machinery, heavy equipment. So I think it can be actually applied to such a broad range, and especially predictive maintenance in the end. Failing equipment, loss of capacity because of this, it's a challenge everywhere.
Great, yeah. And thanks for sharing. It's all about customer value, right? So as we get to the end of this discussion, I would love for both of you to share with us what is next. What is the thing that your teams are working on?
So a big thing for us is actually realizing that there's more pull from the customers to help with the de-skilling in the workforce sometimes. So they need things that are a little bit more prescriptive and directive in the maintenance. So as well as telling somebody there's something wrong with a machine, we're looking at ways now that we can actually build on the history we've had in the past and push through using new technologies like generative AI. How do we explore that, and how do we give a better insight into what you should actually be doing to correct the machine? Because I've always described things like prescriptive maintenance as something that's like a holy grail you can't quite reach, but I think we're getting very close now. Yeah.
What about you, Alex?
And I mean, especially right now when a lot of people are talking about generative AI, that's of course also something we are looking into, and especially also in the context of predictive maintenance as an added benefit, by not only providing data as a background for what should be done now to repair the issue, but also tapping this treasure of old maintenance reports where specific topics were already addressed, but which in reality nobody reads because it's just inconceivable for a human to go through all those and actually find the relevant spot. But training a large language model on this and then automatically generating suggestions for work instruction, that could be another major gain point for bringing more efficiency into maintenance and actually reducing significantly reaction times, but also the human effort which is behind going into solving a problem, and avoiding, of course, that you have to go back and reiterate because the first time you actually used the wrong approach.
That is wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much, Rob and Alex. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone. And if you want to learn a little bit more about Insights Hub and Senseye Predictive Maintenance, please stop by the stations 82 and 106 to talk to our teams. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.